Another Ripple acquisition just dropped, and this one doesn't live in a vault or a data center. It lives at the edge of every transaction. Imagine a world where a financial institution can open thousands of secure wallets instantly, each governed by policy, each connected to custody, each ready for payment. That is what Palisade brings, and that is why Ripple bought it. If you like deep, fact-based breakdowns that go beyond hype and focus on how this technology actually changes finance, please hit like, subscribe, and share. It helps me keep producing research-driven content for you. Now let's catch everyone up. Between 2019 and 2021, Ripple built its foundation with Algorand, Logos, Strata Labs, and Tranglo, creating the pipes, logic, and corridors for global liquidity. In 2023, it pivoted to custody with Metaco and learned the discipline of Fortress. In 2024, it gained its U.S. legal backbone with standard custody. Then in 2025, we saw Hidden Road become Ripple Prime, G-Treasury bring corporate liquidity into the cockpit, and Rail extend Ripple's reach into the rails beneath global payments. So what was left? The layer that connects all of it. The wallet infrastructure that sits between custody and payments. That's where Palisade comes in. Palisade is a London-based digital asset infrastructure firm focused on what's called wallet as a service. In simple terms, it builds and manages secure wallets for institutions at scale. But this isn't just about convenience. The technology behind it, multi-party computation, or MPC, and zero trust design addresses one of the hardest problems in digital finance: how to secure assets without creating bottlenecks. With MPC, private keys are never stored in one place. Instead, they're split into multiple encrypted shards distributed across different environments. No single machine ever holds the full key. That means even if a system is breached, attackers can't reconstruct control. Palisade couples that with zero trust principles. Every request, every process, and every user must be continuously verified. In a world where traditional custody relies on physical security and cold storage, Palisade offers programmable, scalable security that lives in software and policy. Ripple already had the vault through Metaco and standard custody, but it needed a layer that could issue and manage wallets dynamically for different clients, use cases, and chains. Palisade fills that gap. It gives Ripple Custody the ability to create, control, and retire wallets programmatically while maintaining institutional-grade security. In Ripple's announcement, the company highlighted that Palisade's infrastructure will be integrated into both Ripple Custody and Ripple Payments. That single sentence carries huge weight. It means that Ripple can now handle everything from long-term asset storage to high-frequency transactions within one unified architecture. Let's pause on that. Most institutions today face a trade-off between safety and speed. Assets stored with a custodian are safe but slow to deploy. Assets in hot wallets move quickly but carry risk. Palisade's design collapses that divide. It lets Ripple offer custody-level protection with payment-level agility. Here's an example. A global fintech wants to onboard thousands of customers who each need a regulated digital wallet tied to specific currencies and jurisdictions. Setting that up manually could take weeks and introduce compliance risk. With Palisade's API-driven architecture, those wallets can be created, monitored, and governed automatically. Every wallet carries policy logic, what assets it can hold, where it can send value, and which custodial entity secures it. That automation turns infrastructure into code. And now imagine pairing that with G-Treasury. A corporate treasurer schedules payroll across 15 countries. G-Treasury handles the forecasting and approvals. Ripple Prime sources the liquidity. Standard custody secures reserves. Rail connects to local banks and payment processors. Palisade is the glue in the middle, the wallet layer that actually moves and holds the value between each step. Without it, those systems would still rely on third-party wallet providers or manual integrations. With it, the entire loop stays inside Ripple's ecosystem. You can think of Palisade as the connective tissue between the vault and the rails. If G-Treasury is the cockpit and Rail is the track, Palisade is the engine control software that executes every instruction safely and instantly. Technically, it also gives Ripple multi-chain flexibility. Palisade's system already supports multiple blockchains and can bridge to new ones through policy templates. That means a bank using Ripple custody could hold XRP, RLUSD, Ethereum-based tokens, or tokenized securities from Securitize, all managed through one consistent interface. The client doesn't need to know which chain underpins each asset. They just see a secure, compliant wallet. Regulatory alignment is another angle here. Palisade operates under UK oversight, complementing Ripple's global regulatory footprint. Metaco's Swiss compliance, Standard Custody's New York Trust Charter, and Ripple's own money transmitter and MiCA registrations. It adds geographic diversity to Ripple's regulatory map, giving the company resilience and redundancy across jurisdictions. There's also the competitive picture. Firms like Fireblocks, Copper, and Anchorage dominate digital custody and wallet provisioning, but their focus stops at safekeeping. They don't directly connect to enterprise payment flows or liquidity management systems. Ripple's strategy is different. By owning every layer, wallets, custody, payments, liquidity, and rails, it can orchestrate the entire value chain under one compliance umbrella. That's what makes Palisade such a smart acquisition. It's not just more security, it's orchestration. Here's where it gets more interesting. Ripple's statement emphasized that Palisade's wallet capabilities will enhance Ripple payments for high-frequency use cases like collections, disbursements, and subscriptions. That's a quiet but major clue about the next phase of adoption. Those are real-world business-to-business flows, the kind that happen millions of times a day. The more those transactions use Ripple's stack, the more liquidity, data, and trust accumulate inside the ecosystem. Now, let's tie in RLUSD. Ripple's stablecoin will need compliant wallets capable of minting, burning, and settling units across chains and jurisdictions. Palisade's architecture makes that possible. A wallet template can define who can hold RLUSD, under what jurisdiction, and what transactions require additional approvals. It's a programmable compliance layer that keeps regulation baked into every transfer. That's the kind of infrastructure regulators and institutions both want to see. For XRP itself, Palisade adds utility rather than speculation. As more institutional wallets connect through Ripple's network, XRP continues to act as the bridge asset balancing liquidity between currencies and stablecoins. Palisade simply makes that process faster and more controlled. It allows XRP to flow through compliant channels automatically, which is exactly what institutions need before they can use it at scale. Let's zoom out for a moment. From a strategic view, this acquisition marks Ripple's shift from building static infrastructure to building adaptive systems. Early acquisitions created fixed components, the pipes, vaults, cockpit, and rails. Palisade adds the programmable layer on top. It's like moving from a mechanical watch to a digital one. Same precision, far more control. There's also a subtle but powerful narrative change. With Palisade, Ripple isn't just a company that connects financial institutions, it's becoming the fabric that institutions build on. Developers and enterprises could use Ripple's APIs to launch entire services, wallets, settlement tools, or tokenized asset management without ever leaving Ripple's ecosystem. That's the definition of platform dominance. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine a future where a regional bank in Europe wants to issue tokenized bonds and offer customers instant settlement using RLUSD. With Metaco, Ripple provides custody and token issuance. With standard custody, the assets are held under U.S. trust law. Palisade manages the wallets and compliance logic. Ripple Prime handles liquidity and credit. G-Treasury runs the corporate side. Rail connects to payment networks. All of this operates seamlessly across the XRPL and other chains. That's not a speculative fantasy, it's the architecture Ripple is actively assembling. Of course, there are challenges ahead. Integration across so many acquisitions takes precision. Each system has its own APIs, security models, and regional compliance obligations. Ripple will need to harmonize these layers without compromising performance or regulatory clarity, but if any company is positioned to do it, it's the one that's been methodically building this foundation for 6 years straight. Another factor is trust. Institutions don't adopt overnight. They test, pilot, and audit. The success of Palisade's integration will depend on Ripple's ability to prove that this wallet fabric performs reliably at scale, with clear audit trails and uptime guarantees. The payoff, however, could be enormous in establishing Ripple as the default provider for institutional wallet infrastructure worldwide. So what does this mean for the future of finance? In one sentence, Ripple is transforming from a payments company into a programmable financial operating system. Each acquisition adds a function: liquidity, custody, compliance, treasury, rails, and now wallets. The stack is nearly complete. The next frontier may be token issuance and programmable money at scale. Let's wrap it together. From 2019 to 2021, Ripple built the pipes. In 2023, it built the vaults. In 2024, it gained the legal backbone. In early 2025, it added the broker and the cockpit. With Rail, it secured the rails. And with Palisade, it's activating the endpoints, the wallets that touch every transaction. This is the last layer between technology and utility. Every acquisition started as a missing piece. Palisade may be the one that finally connects them all. This channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research and keep the discussion respectful. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, or sharing it with a friend.